pink ribbon. So how is everybody keeping? Are we on? Are we on? Are we ready? Are the techno all sorted out? So big happy Friday everybody, and welcome to the 11 o'clock live, which is a little bit late this morning, but sure, as usual I'm disorganised and trying to get myself all sorted. So candle here lighting in front of me. So do you remember last week we talked about the candle?
Just you can talk for a minute. It's just Facebook is not coming on live for some reason.
Right, we'll give them a couple of minutes there. I'm still kind of getting myself organised here anyway. I'm going to use that one, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We've loads planned for this morning. So go and get yourself a cup of tea, have a penguin basket, a penguin bar, and sit yourself down, have your notebook and pen, and obviously if you have any questions at all, of course you can ask throughout the live, there's no problem. How are we going? Are we set?
No, we're still not live on Facebook.
Okay, so hold on YouTube and Instagram, bear with us. Facebook is acting up a bit. Maybe it's like the Australian one, you know the way see in Australia?
They have us barred.
They have them all barred. Maybe Facebook is after barring us.
Okay, I don't know why.
Too much news maybe. Do you want to log out and log back in again? And we didn't even play the music.
No, we didn't even play the music.
This morning we said we won't play the music so that we won't get cut off.
I'll just try this again.
Don't worry, take your time anyway. I have loads to do. Right.
Yes, so, you're live on Facebook now.
Live.
Yes.
Okay, big happy Friday everybody, and sorry there Facebook, we had a little bit of a problem getting you connected. So we'll just give a couple of minutes because people do be giving out that I start straight away, and they're only getting the notification, and then they come in and they've missed half the demo. So anybody else that's watching on Instagram or on YouTube, so why don't you introduce yourselves? Let us know where you're watching from, and obviously give us the weather forecast.
Okay, on YouTube, Jennifer is watching in from Durham this morning.
Hiya Jennifer, how are you? Welcome.
Who have we got here? Marie Kennedy is watching in on Instagram.
Hiya Marie.
And who else have we got? Aisling Walsh is watching in. She says the weather is shite down in Sligo.
Aisling loves the way I say the weather is shite. Shite down in Sligo. It's actually not too bad in Dublin, I have to say. It's drizzly, just drizzly out there. Sky is bluey grey, not too bad, and the sun is trying to shine.
And Deb is on YouTube as well, and she's watching in from Ayr in Scotland.
Hiya Deb, how are you? Big welcome. So how's Facebook? Are we logged in?
We're on and go now.
Big welcome everybody. We can get started. So as I said, we've a busy hour planned ahead of us. Well, I hope you'll get it done.
Not as busy as last week.
Not as busy as last week's, no. But they're probably going to be slower because there's a bit more labour intense today, as much as I have some organised. So today is going to be about spring wreaths, all about recycling, using up stuff that's kind of like lying around the garden, you know that way. So basically get out there and forage, and hopefully it's not going to cost you an awful lot of money. And then with the materials and the mechanics, I'll actually have them for sale on our website, so there's absolutely no excuse not to be able to copy what I'm showing you this morning.
Okay, we have a new word. On Instagram, Louise said it's manky in Tipperary.
Manky. Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. Manky in Tipperary, grand. We normally say it's shite in Dublin, you know. So manky in Tipperary. So anybody else that's watching in, let us know what's the weather forecast.
Seems to be fairly bad around, although I'm looking at the sky out there now, it's gone black.
It is kind of going, well, it's
but
grey.
It's sunny here at the moment.
It's sunny here at the moment, yeah, absolutely. So as I said, last week I was telling you about the wedding candle that we would have as a giveaway today. And Sinead is going to post the links both on the Facebook page and on the Instagram page. So Louise Moran is a past student of the school. She's a wedding planner. And talk about having her finger in everything. And she has brought out her new range of candles. And like when I would have been talking to her there a couple of weeks ago, it was just the wedding candle, because I bought these off her at Christmas time myself to give as a present. As you know, my son is getting married in September, and I'm going to have this fabulous daughter-in-law, Jessica, who is actually her birthday today. So big happy birthday, Jessica. If you're watching, she's probably not. I know she has a day off work today. But this is the wedding candle, and it comes in this fabulous gift box, okay? The scent of it is amazing. And what I didn't really tell you about it last week, because I hadn't really hadn't really taken much heed, to be honest. But it's all environmentally friendly. There's no toxins, because I did notice that it didn't go black. You know the way some candles go black on the inside of the glass? So there's no toxins. It's recycled glass. It's recycled packaging. Like, the packaging is absolutely gorgeous on it. You know the way? And there's 70 hours burning on it. But what the great thing about it, and Louise was giving it out to me last week, because I actually put too much oil on my hands last week. But you see, when I use it, I normally use it as a mask, and I put a pair of gloves on, and basically I leave it on for, you know, an hour or so to really soak into my skin, because my skin, my hands are really, really hard. And you don't have to blow out the candle, even though I blew out the candle last week. This soy wax doesn't get as hot as normal wax, so it is quite safe. So all you do is you just put the tiniest bit of oil, just see, onto your hand, and you probably can't see that on my hand there.
Yeah.
And then you just rub it in, so it's basically like warm oil, okay? Rub it in and massage it into your hands. And if you actually go on to Louise's page, she has her... What was your woman with the hands? You know the way she does all the nails?
Yeah, manicurist. Yeah,
presumes the word. Actually giving a demo of how to give yourself a proper hand massage. But I have to say, your hands will feel absolutely amazing.
we were actually shocked, in fairness.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of way. But as I said, for anybody, like not just florists that have like wrecked hands after Valentine's Day, but even anybody else out there, and you just want to give yourself a treat, you know what I mean?
I
And you
actually
still have your
bought
hand.
one for a friend of mine, and she should have been getting married next week.
Oh, yeah.
And so the wedding has been postponed, so I just bought it as a little gift for
And
her.
you know what you can get, which Louise was telling me about, you know the silver lid that comes on the candle?
Oh,
You can get that
right.
engraved with the date of their wedding. Do you know the way? Or
Oh.
their names. Or again, but what today, it's actually only today, Louise is also bringing out 2 new ranges of candles, okay? One is the lime basil and mandarin, which if you're into Joe Malone, you know what I mean, you will absolutely love the sense of that one. And the other one is a Marc Jacobs one. And I can't remember the names of them, but I'm sure if Louise is watching, she might put up the names. But one is like Only Me, and Me and You.
Something
and I
like
could have
that,
them
yeah.
completely wrong, you know that way. But I haven't had them candles, so I can't really give any information. We're really talking about the wedding candle. But listen, does anybody know anybody getting married, okay? Or maybe anybody that should have had their wedding date and it's been postponed, or maybe somebody that might get married in future. Well, Louise is giving away one of these wedding candles, and all you have to do, and go nowhere, stay here for the moment, okay? All you have to do is go over to her page, either her Facebook page or her Instagram page, and Sinead is going to put the links in the comments below. You need to follow their page, put up a little comment like that she knows that you're one of us. Make sure you do hashtag Case Flower School. Do something Case Flower School, Janette, Deirdre. Mention us in some sort of form at all, and then she'll know. And then what Louise will do, she'll pick a winner for the wedding candle. So that's what we have there
On
today.
Instagram, just because obviously you can't tag it on Instagram, it's
Louise
Moran.
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's just a new page that she has set up, and I just checked this morning and she had 206 followers. This is going to be her new candle page. So listen, let's get it up to 306 for her. Let's get
Francis
100.
is saying that they have a wedding coming up. It's postponed 3 times.
Oh,
like, it's really hard for the wedding people at the moment.
And you know, you can nearly, the novelty be nearly, the excitement to be nearly gone off it at that stage, you know, that way. But hopefully, anyway, please God, things will work out for them. So today I'm going to do a door wreath. It's actually 2 of them, so stay with me, okay? Remember to click share. Our competition today for our giveaway for a spring wreath course, which includes about 3 or 4 different spring wreaths, isn't it? Will be the best sharer, okay?
Yeah.
I think I put that up and I wasn't sure how you spell the word sharer, okay? Or if there is such a word. But what we're looking for is the best sharer. And when you're sharing the page, like you can share the page on your own page, but you can also maybe share it in a group that you happen to be a member of. Now obviously not the Bloom Rooms, because I share them in the Bloom Rooms already. But you know, like maybe you're part of a mum's group or a tots group or a menopause group or whatever the group might be on Facebook.
You're letting away your hints,
I
Janette.
joined the menopause group there last week, I did. That's why it's in my mind. What you do is you can share it to any of them groups that maybe you're a member of. And then we're able to go in and click on, you know, it'll come up on our post how many people have shared it. And we can click on that and all your names will come up who has shared the post. So obviously the more times you share it, the more times your name will come up. So on video, what we're going to do is we're going to do like a quick scroll and stop. And that's how we're going to pick our winners out. So the competition today is to be the best sharer
On Facebook.
on Facebook. Okay.
And on Instagram, they need to share it to their story so that it's tagged in. So you won't be able to do it until it goes to IGTV. But once you share it to your story and tag us, or share it now and tag us on your story, we'll get a notification, and the same thing, that'll be the winner.
How are you going to do it on YouTube?
On YouTube, I'm actually, do you know what? I'm going to just pick somebody from the comments on YouTube.
So say something nice. Like,
say something nice.
Say something nice. Deirdre looks really nice today. She has a black top with white spots on it. So tell her she looks gorgeous, and you never know. So yesterday I came on live and I showed you a bunch of pussy willow, okay? So I have it all cut up now today, so I hope you watched yesterday's. And what I did this morning, I came in early this morning and I basically cut me pussies off me willow, okay? So you get your scissors and you go along, and all your little fluffy duffy little pieces there, what I did was I cut them all off, right? And I'll show you what I did with them later on. And this was all the shit I was left with. You see, this is all the rubbish. There's a few little pussy willows on them where they were kind of like lower down on the stem. So I'm going to show you today how to make a frame using the branches of the pussy willow. And this could be branches of maybe the birch twigs, the willow twigs, or maybe some items or twigs that might be growing in your garden. So what you do need yourself is you need a wire ring, okay? And this is a 12-inch wire ring, and they come in different sizes. You also need a roll of real wire or mossing wire. And when you pick this up, or often I would send it out, even with my ones, I'm going to hold that one up close. You can see it's actually rusty looking. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, it's rusty looking. It's absolutely fine, because what happens is once you've used it the first time, and it's going to get kind of like damp in your hands, you know the way, and it's rusty, and sometimes people say, oh, it's absolutely fine. And if anything, I find the rusty one grips the ends of the stems of the foliage even better. It doesn't slip, you know the way, especially when your hands are nice and waxy and oily like my ones today.
I'm getting great compliments over on YouTube there, and somebody says they'd actually love to see me in front of the camera. Someday you will, guys.
Someday. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook the real wire in and out through the wire frame there, do you see, like that, and then just give it a little twist, and that's our mossing wire. I call it real wire, but mossing wire or real wire, and that's a cut onto the frame. Now, it's possible to make these frames out of co-hangers, and that's one that my dad actually organised for me, and that's one there where I used the co-hanger frame and I put a straw onto it. And I do have a bag of straw here. I'm not going to have time today, but maybe one of the days next week I'll go into more detail. Watch me candle. I'll go into more detail next week of how to make the frame with a co-hanger and how to actually make a frame using straw. So anybody that's maybe in the country that can get their hands on straw, or what we normally use up here in Dublin is pet shop straw. So, you know, go to the local pet shop where they sell the straw for the rabbit hutches. Deirdre buys it in for her chickens, you know, that way. And it's like, it's a £5. Now, I know if you're in the country, you probably think that's a rip-off, but I actually think it's very cheap. And out of the bag for a £5, you'd get about 6 or 7 frames out of it, so it works out great value. So today, as I said, I'm using up all my rubbish. So with these twigs, as I'm picking them up off the table, I seem to have a lot of thick pieces down that end. So I'm swapping some of the stems around that I have like thick and thin stems at one end, and also thick and thin at the other end. But they're not going to be even, and that's absolutely fine. So grip them together, squeeze them together with your hand. Don't worry that they're dead straight. I will mould them into the shape, okay? You rest your twigs onto the wire frame where your real wire was attached. And you wrap the real wire around once or twice, okay? And then you kind of like move it around a bit, and you go on again once or twice. And then you maneuver the twigs onto the base, and you go around there once or twice. And then you maneuver the twigs onto the base another little bit more, and you go around that once or twice. Are you getting the idea? Do you see right? And eventually you'll see that the stems then start to kind of like mould onto it. Now my real wire has just unravelled there a little bit for me. Don't unravel your real wire. That would be the trick, okay? So don't unravel your real wire.
Somebody said Mr. Price has straw for sale.
Okay, and how much is it in Mr. Price? And if you are up in Mr. Price, take a photograph of it and post the photograph over in the Kay's Flowery Fun Group page for us. We'd really, really appreciate that. Now I'm coming along, I'm going to overlap another bit, but one end of it is going to stick out from the frame. But when I come around the second time, you'll see the way I tidy that up. So I'm basically sticking it on there where the wire was finished. Don't worry about that bit sticking out. And I'm now doing the same thing. So again, I'm catching it with the wire. And again, even them short little bits there, just kind of mould them in onto the frame, and around you go again. Now, just last week we had, I think we called them a spammer or a spanner, you know that way. And I know over in the Flowery Fun Group, there's a fella called David, okay? Now, Janette got blocked yesterday, she did. But he seemed to be going along all the comments at calling us all cuties. which was nice, I suppose. He was nice about it. The fella last week was selling the sex toys, but this fellow this week was going around calling everybody a cutie and looking to befriend you, okay? Stay away from them spammers, girls and boys, you know the way, they're not good at all. So if you do see anybody, you know what I mean, like, what would you call it, like?
Yeah,
Spamming you, basically.
Yeah.
Just let us know. There is an option, there's 3 little dots on the right hand side, and it gives you an option to report that person, you know that way, and then we'll kick them out of the group, we will.
Leanne over on Instagram said, what other branches could you use?
So you could use the birch twigs, okay, which we often use here. Like, do you remember last week when I was doing the Valentine arrangements and I used the willow twigs and the birch twigs, the white ones, the red ones, and the ones that I sprayed pink. You could use any of them, they would all work out. Now don't worry about them all sticking out, I tidy them all up as I go along, right? But as I said, this is kind of like a recycling sort of a base, okay? It's using up anything that basically you can salvage. What's that stuff that grows mad on the N4 on the motorways?
Oh,
somebody give me the name. Red
the
something.
red. It's a no, it's not red robin, is it?
No, it's not red robin. No.
I have it in my garden.
Yeah, the red twigs, winey coloured twigs. I have a blank.
Sinead.
Somebody there, you know the name of the stuff. That would be absolutely ideal. Now the thing is, don't pull in on the motorway to rob it, okay? Don't go out for a walk on the motorway either. Anybody got the name for me?
Somebody's saying cornice. That's
no. Well, maybe that's the right name for it, but that's not the common
Dogwood.
name. Dogwood, that's the one, yeah. And probably
Marie Stanley Dogwood.
Fair play to you, thanks a million. So what I'm doing now is I'm going around a second time to see on the base, and what I'm doing now is I'm catching in the raw bits that were sticking out, okay? So just kind of like bending them around, and I'm glad I have me wax on my hands today, because this is a bit tough on the hands, you know that way, like especially the thicker pieces of the twig, like the end pieces of the pussy willow, get off there, you know what I mean, you have to really kind of like squeeze it in. But as I said, this is costing you nothing, you know what I mean, because the pussy, well, obviously you have to buy the pussy willow, I suppose.
Well, you could have it grown in your garden.
You could have that grown in your garden, yeah. Now we've bought it in, and I know someone's going to ask me, where did you buy it? So we buy it in from a foliage grower, and he's down in Wicklow. But you can only buy from him if you're wholesale. But there'll be lots and lots of flower shops here that's watching. So normally Kerry in Waterford. We do have Wayne over in Phibsborough Back Lane Blooms. Who else do we have that sells all the stuff? And they sell all this stuff to you.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure even maybe Linda in the flower shop downstairs.
I'm sure she would,
which is not connected. Case Florist in Rialto. I'm sure she'd sell you the bunch of it as well. I'm using a half a bunch just to kind of give you, you know, if you're kind of wondering, well, how much did you use? I had a half a bunch of the pussy willow, which I've cut all the little fluffy bits off, and you'll see I'll use them kind of in a few minutes for something else. And then all the twigs or the leftovers, that's how I made my frame. So just coming along here, just catch in them raw bits. Go on.
Elaine said that there's lots of pussy willow in the bogs around. Now, there's no bogs in Dublin, that's the only thing. Well, not that we know of. Jane says she's just trimmed her willow tree yesterday. Now she knows what to do with it this weekend. Where do you live, Jane?
Put up a photograph of it, Jane. We'd love to see it. Even if you haven't got the photograph now, is you can put the photograph up maybe later on in the Flowery Fun group. So even though I have a few little bits sticking out, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to cut off my reel wire, and the bit of reel wire that's left over, I'm going to stick it down into the frame in among the twigs and so on. Now, what I also need to tell you, so that's my frame made up. So going off subject for the moment. We've just got approval from SkillNets. So SkillNets is they offer funding and grants to people who want to learn a new skill, or maybe want to upskill, maybe florists who want to go maybe a little bit more advanced, or maybe beginners who would just like to go into the flower trade. And they will pay 25% funding off your course. So our next beginners course is starting on Wednesday the 10th of March, that's module 1. And if anybody is interested in availing of the grant, because there is a limited number and it works on a first come, first basis serve, the best thing to do is probably drop me an email and I can send you all the information on the course. So info@flowerschoolireland.com, or if you already have the information and you know that you want to book a place, go to the website flowerschoolireland.com, and what you can do is you can click on the bookings button, scroll down to the very end of the bookings page, you'll see 3 green buttons, and it's where you can book module 1, module 3 or module 4. We don't have any funding for module 2 at the moment, okay? So just if anybody
and just that it is only for people that live, this particular funding is only for people living in Ireland.
You have to be living in Ireland, yes, sorry. So what I've then done, and I'm going to show you how I can use up the rubbish for this as well.
So just a reminder, guys, that for everybody that shares this tutorial, we are putting you in for a competition to win a Spring Wreath tutorial. So, and obviously we're up to 426.
Wow, Jesus,
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
So
Last week we hit 526, okay? So we need a bit more clicking out there. And remember, we're looking for the best sharer, okay? Whether sharer is a word, I don't know. But we're looking for the best sharer. So, for decorating up this frame, I then got some eucalyptus. Now, I bought in the eucalyptus. And again, you could buy the eucalyptus from your local flower shop. But your one there that's cutting her tree,
Yeah.
she probably has eucalyptus trees. So it's basically...
And actually just, I was watching the Irish Green guys, and this is the time of year to hack back.
them, like literally cut them right back. So what I did was I got the eucalyptus and I went along and I cut off all the pieces like that. But I didn't throw these out. So I have tons and tons of rubbish here, okay? Because my second frame, I'm going to show you how I can use up all them branches and make a frame out of them as well. And again, we're recycling. People are always giving out to me that I don't recycle. I've environmentally friendly candles here today.
I know.
I'm actually wearing an environmentally friendly jumper.
You are?
Okay. And I think I'm being really, really good today, I am. So when you have cut up all your pieces of eucalyptus, and do you remember earlier on, I had you cutting up your pieces of pussy willow, right? What you can then do, we'll push them out of the way, is you can make little bunches like what I have done there. And can you see the little bunches? There's a little bunch of pussy willow and a little bit of eucalyptus. You see in the bunch. Now I'll take one apart. Now I have them all prepared because this would have taken too long. And you'd have to have about 10 penguin bars to keep up with me. So what I did was I had about, I'm going to say 5 or 6 bits of eucalyptus. Have you something there, dear?
Yeah, poor Julie. Julie from Huntington in Cambridgeshire, she says she woke up in a real mood this morning and you've cheered her right up.
I'm delighted. Well, as my jumper says, grow positive thoughts, you know that way, and that's what it's all about. Like, you have to be positive, you have to put the smile on your face, get up and stick the lippy on, you know that way, stick on the lipstick, slap a bit of foundation onto you, and put on the high heels. Definitely put on the high heels.
The red knickers.
And the red knickers, yeah. We had a big discussion in our bloom room the other day about, I'm actually wearing black ones today.
Okay.
Are you wearing red ones? We had a big discussion about red knickers. I actually hadn't heard this one before. But one of our students was going to do like a presentation, and she was terrified, shitting about going to do this presentation. And you finished the story.
So I said, like years ago when I started training trainers first, I had done research and I said that if you wear red, it's a grounding colour. But somebody was saying, I can't wear red, I have to wear, a suit, and a red suit. And I says, wear red shoes. She says, I haven't got red shoes. I said, well, wear red knickers.
Yeah.
Anything red on you will ground you. So if you're ever doing something that you're a little bit nervous about, wear red and it grounds you.
So that was her advice. I think it was Kim was her name, I can't remember. And we told her to wear a pair of red knickers when she was doing her Zoom class. Obviously some clothes on over the knickers now as well. But we obviously had men on the class as well. So we had to kind of, equality. So we had to talk about the red jocks. But then it was funny, like Sinead normally kind of posts any links, and she was posting these lovely little skimpy red knickers and red jocks or whatever. And then somebody started posting the knickers, like you would have fit now 3 grannies into it. She said she wanted a pair of knickers to keep herself warm.
While you started, somebody's just asking, where did you get your jumper?
Oh, right. So there's a girl on Facebook, but she's also on Instagram. And her name is Emer Hutchinson. And I know we have lots of followers from Sligo. And she's originally she is from Sligo, not originally, but she lives in Cork, she does. And she set up a Facebook, she's a blogger, and she set up an Instagram page, and obviously a Facebook page, a couple of years ago. And it was called The Two Darlings, because she had 2 little darlings, you know the way. And they're little gingery head kids, curly, masses of curls, you know the way.
Strawberry blonde.
Yeah, she now has 4 little darlings. So I think on Instagram she's changed her page to Emer Hutchinson, and on Facebook she still is The Two Darlings. But she's just brilliant. And even though I haven't got small kids, I follow her because I just enjoy her.
Her cooking, oh my God.
Cooking, and even her crafts. She's so crafty, you know that way. And you tell them the story.
So
about
before
the
Christmas, she was actually making these jumpers and selling them, and you could get lots of different writing on them. She actually has the machine that cuts out the stuff. So you can nearly, they were bespoke. But with Brexit and everything else, and again, they're sustainable jumpers. She didn't want to, couldn't just get them in. So she's not doing it anymore. But she does do lots of other crafty things. I can't remember the name of that cutting out, that plastic that sticks on things.
Again,
but she has it on plant pots, because she actually had a vase up the other day and I was giving out to her because the flowers were dead in the vase. But she had decorated the vase and it was beautiful, but the flowers were dead in the vase. But yeah, go over to her. She's on Instagram, Edelmar Hutchison, or Facebook.
Deirdre was on to her and was saying about the jumper, and she actually made this jumper specially for me. You know, so it's handmade, it is. It's as soft as anything, you know, that way. It's as absolutely cozy. Now, it's a little bit big, Deirdre.
Okay.
But obviously, Deirdre knows me for washing, okay? It's a big joke in our house. When you buy anything to wear, this goes to the boys, you know, you always buy it a bit bigger, because Mammy dries everything in the dryer. So everything kind of shrinks slightly and it'll fit perfect next week. So this will fit me perfect next week.
Okay. Do you know, these girls are amazing. They're all telling me it's Cree Cut is the name of that, the vinyl, cutting out the vinyl.
Better tell them how we're making the wreath.
Yes.
So what I did was I attached on the real wire at the beginning, which you've probably seen me doing. And then each of your bunches, I have them wired together with a 20 gauge wire. So do you remember I was saying, whereas I got my 5 or 6 pieces of eucalyptus, a couple of little pieces of the pussy willow, and all I did was I got either a 20 or a 22 gauge wire. Any bit of wire will do. You could even use a bit of wire off your real wire if you wanted. And I basically hooked the wire around the end and wrapped it around, and then I cut off what I didn't need, you know, that way. So you'd be able to get two lots out of each wire. So basically I'm placing a bunch in the centre and then one to the right and one to the left. So I've already placed one in the centre, so now I'm kind of going to the right and the left. And just like letting them stick out a bit. And can you see the effect that I'm getting? So that's the back of her frame. Now I know on my bloom rooms there, some of the students were saying about not being able to get twig rings, and I was saying to them, like, listen, you can make twig rings. So you can see there, now my one was kind of skimpy enough, you know what I mean, because I just used up the remnants that was left over. But you see the way you could make that much chunkier, and plus you could make it on a larger frame, like that was only on a 12-inch frame. So you could make them twig rings yourself that you could use, you know, the ones that they're putting the silk flowers onto them. Now I am going to use a couple of silk flowers later on, not on this wreath, on my next one. So don't be going anywhere, stay there, you know, that way. And remember, how's the sharers coming on, Deirdre? How's the best sharer coming on?
I think they're sharing away. How do you get on, Sinead? Let me know. How are our shares going?
And you know what, this twig ring is so nice. You can nearly
actually, do you know what?
allow some of the ring to actually show and not go all the way around if you didn't want to, you know, that way.
I'm gonna get a bit shaky for a second, just
shaky
to...
there for a second. One of the batteries is going flat there, and do you know, as soon as I have them wired up, I might as well go all the way around. But maybe another week I'll do it, and I won't go all the way around.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody that's going to copy this, because that's what I love. You know the way I love then, like later on this evening, over the weekend, or even next week, where you just get in and you just copy the items that I've shown you, and then you post them over in the Flowery Fun group. You know the way, just be brilliant. But you see how easy these are.
It's gorgeous.
Now the work is in making up the little bunches. Now, if you had more time, you know the way, obviously if you weren't demonstrating like I am here, you could like just leave the stuff loose on the table, and you could grab it, you know that way, and make the bunches yourself. It's not necessary to wrap a little wire around the end of it, but by God, it makes life so much easier. And I kind of find myself, like the time that I spend making the bunches, which does take a little bit of time, but I save it when I go to make the wreath, because I don't actually have to be fiddling around. I can just grab the bunches, and you can see there how it's coming along.
That's lovely.
Now when you get near the end, you know the way all the bunches have like the bit of wire at the bottom of them? What you need to start doing is kind of sliding them in underneath there. So you know the first bunch, okay, you can see the way it's sitting up off the base there. So the ends of the last bunches have to slip or slide in under the beginning of the first bunches. And that's just kind of what makes it a little bit neater and a little bit tidier.
Sinead said the sharers are going great.
The which?
The sharers. Sinead said the sharers are going great.
Okay, right. So are you keeping an eye there, Sinead? Have we got a best sharer so far? Now, do you know what I need to, on a sad note, okay? You probably, if you're tuned in, like if you're a regular, if you're one of our regulars, you probably hear us talking to Bernie Hurley, you know the way, on the camera all the time. Bernie Hurley lives in County Laois, Portlaoise, and we're always slagging...
No, Port Arlington.
Oh, Port Arlington, sorry. And it's in Portlaoise, is it? Not sure.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Hopefully,
where's
isn't
Port
it?
Arlington?
Anyway.
Haven't a clue, doesn't matter. She's in Port Arlington.
She knows who she is.
She knows who she is. And some of you know her as well, because she has the most amazing garden. She's always posting photographs in the Flowery Fun group. And we're all slagging, saying that as soon as COVID is over, we're going to hire a bus, and all the K's Flower School fans and followers are all going to get on that bus, and we're heading down to Port Arlington. And no, Bernie, she said no problem, she's going to have apple tart and tea ready. I actually could see her welcoming us all with open arms. But her poor dad passed away there, I think on Monday night, you know, that way, just early in the week there. So listen, Bernie, we're all thinking of you. Big, big hugs, love you loads, you know, that way. And our heart is with you. And I'm sure any of the followers there would, you know, pass on the same thoughts there. It's so hard at the moment.
A couple of people are saying that where could they buy the real wire and the rings?
That was my next thing I had there to remind you of, okay? So what we have is I have a set, and we sell 3 of these wire rings, so you'll be able to make 3 of them, okay? So 3 of the wire, not only 2 in my hand because I'm not using one. So 3 of these wire rings, 1 roll of the real wire that will probably do about 8 of the door wreaths, okay? That'll last you for ages. A bunch of the wires, and again, you'll get loads of the door wreaths out then, because remember I said you don't have to use the whole wire, and I'm going to send you out long ones, so if you want to cut them in half, you're only looking for a bit of wire to wrap around the end, and if you run short, you can also use the real wire. And you have an option, you can either buy the roll of ribbon or you can leave the ribbon out, so I'll show you where we can use the roll of ribbon. But it's €25 including postage, and that's only in Ireland, not in the UK, is that right?
Yeah, only in Ireland, yeah.
No, we're not sending them to the UK, is it?
No, it's just,
Yeah, it's just too awkward with the Brexit, you know, that way.
They're being charged then extra when it arrives, and it's just,
when it arrives, it's all with customs and so on. So when you get near the end and you're adding in them bunches with their ends kind of tucked in, you have to be careful that you don't flatten down, you know, the first bunch that's already there. So I often call it the wiggle and wangle kind of technique. So just sliding in a bunch here. So when I'm wrapping the wire around it, I'm kind of like wiggling it in between the leaves of the eucalyptus and the pussy willow, so that I don't kind of flatten down what's already there. So I'm just another tiny little bit of wiggling and wangling, you know, that way. And I'd say that's nearly there.
Yeah.
And then at the back then, I'm just going, the back actually looks really nice as well, doesn't it? So at the back then, I'm just going to cut off the wire that's left over. I'm going to make a little hook, and I'm going to stick it down into the frame. A little bit of movement around. Now where you finished off, that's going to be either the top or the bottom of your wreath, okay? Because that's the finishing off part. And if you're going to place a bow on it, I actually took out the wrong colour for this. Will you see the kind of gold, are you able to reach the kind of goldy colour? Actually, will I get it for you?
No, go on, I'll go.
See the kind of like, I don't know what colour you'd call it, kind of goldy cream.
This one?
Yeah, thanks me. I just think it'd kind of go better with the pussy willow. What do you
Yeah,
think?
probably, yeah.
Oh, I have the green.
Yeah,
Give me
that's
the
what I
green.
took out.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. She gave me out the moss green, okay? I don't have any of this colour for sale. I do have the organza for sale, but I don't have any of this colour for sale. We're out of it at the moment. So you can make a bow, or you can just make a handle on it. And I'm probably going to do this wrong. I'm going to have a mental blank on this anyway, but we'll see how we go. So what I'm doing is I'm tying the ribbon together, kind of like making like a circle. Can you see like that? And just pull it real hard and make sure that knot is nice and secure, and cut off kind of like the raw bits that's at the end. You could make a bow as well if you want to.
Okay, Deirdre wants to know, is it possible to do module 2 and 3 without doing module 1?
Say that again?
Is it possible to do module 3 without doing module 1?
No.
Or 2 or 3?
No, you'd be absolutely mad. Unless you have covered a commercial course, now not a hobby course, a commercial course somewhere else before, and we'd probably ask you to send on a little bit of a portfolio that we can see what standard you'll be at. It'd be like going to swimming lessons and it's fucking you in the deep end of the swimming pool, and you never got a chance up the shallow end with a pair of armbands. You'll be completely out of your depth. And I have a complete blank on this, Deirdre, on how to get this ribbon on. What way did I do it the last time?
True, yeah. That's it, and pull it up.
Yeah, but then I'm going to have the knot at the top.
Oh no, the knot should be where you're...
Anyway, I'm not going to
do the other
I'm just going to do it.
just do it, yeah.
I'm just going to do it.
It'll be tied on anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I wanted to work it that I didn't have the knot at the top, that the knot was kind of hidden at the back.
Emer Hutchison is watching at the moment. She says she loves your jumper.
Perfect. Grow positive thoughts, you know that way. So as I said, Emer, it's a tiny bit big for me, you know that way. But Deirdre obviously knew, you know that way. I'm one of these. I dry everything in the dryer, you know. So there's chances are it'll shrink again next week. But it's I have to say it's as comfortable and it's so soft and cozy on the inside. So there's our spring wreath, okay, using your pussy willow that you could basically forage. One of the girls that was online there said she has it growing in our garden. Our eucalyptus that you can forage. The base and all was used, I basically used up all the rubbish of the pussy willow, and all you really needed was a wire frame. but I am going to show you how you can make it out of a co-hanger during the week. Some of you have watched that video already. So that's one wreath made up. The next one now is, again, I'm going to do a little bit of recycling, okay? And this time we're going to use our eucalyptus rubbish. So I showed you there earlier on where I had the eucalyptus branches and I cut all the eucalyptus up because I have other bunches, you see, of the eucalyptus made up here. So I'm just taking up all the rubbish off the floor. You can't see me arse. Are we black knickers?
While you're down there, are your red knickers?
Red knickers on today.
While you're down there, somebody says, could you add fresh flowers to that?
Absolutely, you could. And do you know what?
And somebody says it's actually stunning with no flowers in it.
Yeah.
So
we actually have them fresh orchids, which I forgot about.
Yeah.
I could add in instead of the artificial. Don't know. Get a vote. Do you want me to put fresh orchids in on the next one, or would you prefer artificial? I have like pink peonies. That's what I was going to add in, and I don't know, they're little bits.
They're faux ones, like
yeah, kind of faux flowers. You know the way. So do a bit of a poll there. So again, to make up this space, instead of using moss or Q-press branches or straw that I have demonstrated before, I'm going to use eucalyptus branches. Now the scent of this will be amazing. So anybody that has a portrait, you know, on their house, you know the way, this will be just a fantastic one without putting any flowers on it at all. So again, I've attached on the roll of real wire onto the wire ring. Now remember, the set that we'll send out to you will have 3 wire rings in it. Sinead might put up the link there for anybody that wants to buy that set,
yeah,
okay?
It's over on the Floral Sundries page, Sinead, just in case you're looking for it.
So what I'm just doing is I'm grabbing, you know, that way, a couple of stems, can you see, of the eucalyptus, and the more untidy these are, the better. Now, when I was cutting off the foliage, I didn't I wasn't like a piranha and taking every little bit off. I did purposely leave some foliage on it, you know that way, but I took off all the nice parts. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your eucalyptus branches, you're going to rest them on the wire ring, and for anybody that missed the pussy willow base, this is exactly how I did it, but it's a lot easier with the eucalyptus, okay, because it's softer and it bends easier, okay? So again, we're wrapping it around. At this stage I feel I could do a few more, so I'm going to grab another bunch of it. There we go. And you can have it as thick or as thin as you want. Now when you place on the second bunch, don't be put off that it sticks out, you know that way? So what I mean is I'm going to press it on here and it's going to stick out like on a funny angle. It'll be grand. If you watch the other one, you see the way it all worked out in the end. This is exactly how I did the pussy willow frame earlier on. And like any branches would do for this. But the great thing about the eucalyptus is it's going to just dry out. And like people say like about eucalyptus hanging it upside down, you have to do nothing to eucalyptus. Leave eucalyptus in a vase with no water in it and it'll just dry out itself and it can look really well. And something else that you can do to it, and now this won't be environmentally friendly, but you know the way you've seen me other weeks spraying, you know what the aerosol sprays, like last week I sprayed all the twigs, do you remember the Mad Cerise pink? Well, what you could do is you could spray your eucalyptus a colour if you prefer, like around Christmas to spray it rose gold or silver. It's fabulous. So again, you can see there, I'm just grabbing up a bunch of the rubbish, like this was literally off the floor.
Laheen, who was on our spring course, said she threw away pussy willow and eucalyptus branches yesterday. She's gone back out to the brown bin. Do you have to put the eucalyptus in water before using?
So when I got this delivered on Thursday, because we always get a foliage delivery on a Thursday, so I would have cut the ends and I would have given it a drink, because I would have been unsure at that stage how long was it out water from your man cut it, you know that way in Wicklow. So I probably would give it a drink. But if you're going out to your own garden and you're cutting it fresh, well, there's no need to give it a drink. You can just use it straight off the tree, off your neighbour's tree, anybody's tree. Anybody got eucalyptus trees grown in their garden and that they need them trimmed? Put your name, address and your air code up there. A Google pinpoint, even better. And you never know, we might organise that.
Actually, they're all commenting, and I said it since I walked in here this morning. The smell is
of eucalyptus is just amazing. You know that way. And between my hands smelling of the oils from the wedding candle, and I have to say they are still as soft, but not greasy. Do you know the way? Or not slimy. You know, they're not slimy kind of. They absolutely just feel as soft as anything. So you can see the way I'm working my way around. Don't worry about all them bits sticking out. That'll all be tidied up on the
Louise
second round.
Moran from the candle has a 40-foot eucalyptus tree, she's telling me.
Oh my God, and that's down in Cork.
Yeah.
Dan, would you be on the road from Port Arlington then down to Cork? What do you think, Deirdre? How's the navigation going?
I tell you. Well, I might be beyond the 5k at the moment. Lisa Keogh said, if you're not buying from a wholesalers, where could you recommend buying your foliage?
But like this, is there any flower shop or garden centre there watching at the moment, you know what I mean, that is selling bunch? Because I know there's loads of them, do you know that way? So if there is any flower shops or garden centres that's watching here that is selling bunches of eucalyptus, will you please put up your tag, you know that way? Because loads of people are looking to buy it. So put up your tag, your phone number, your Facebook page, your website page, your email address, whatever, that people can contact you and we can reshare it and we'll give you a shout out. But whoever asked that question, like, contact your local flower shop and I bet they'll oblige you, you know what I mean? Like, they'll be delighted to make a sale.
Lorraine wants to know, does the eucalyptus need to be dried before you spray it?
Oh, when you want to spray it, yeah. But you know what? I sprayed when it was wet
we
before.
sprayed when it was wet, it was fine.
Yeah, no,
Carmel wants to know, would bamboo work if you to wrap the wire?
I'd say it would. That's not the barber is that the girl that's on the course with us at the moment that was trying to do the bamboo in the hand tied, and I said I didn't know, and it worked out really.
Don't know.
I don't know, are you the same person? But because I got her to post a photograph of it, and yes, I could imagine this would work out really well, and plus I'd say that would dry out really well, so I think that would be a good one.
Louise Meredith said she's never seen it done so randomly before. I was quite horrified at first. I presume she means the wreath.
Yeah, see,
Louise...
you can see me working my way around that. You're able to tidy it up the second time. You see, you wouldn't have had that with the moss or the straw, you know that way. You only get that with the branches. But it's just to kind of show you, because I have done it with the Q-press branches before, you know that way. And when I was cutting up the pussy willow there during the week, I was thinking, wouldn't they make a fabulous frame? And like lots of the girls are having awful problems. The ones that are making the twig rings and they're putting the silk flowers onto them, which are lovely and they're very popular. They all have problems trying to get the twig rings in. And I said, you just make them. And they were saying, how do you make them? And I said, right, sure. I kind of killed two birds with the one stone here.
That's
today.
it. Louise Moran said she's had so many ladies knocking over the few weeks asking could they take some. And Martina over on Instagram said that she has it hanging in her shower at the moment.
Yeah, that is a great idea. Like, just get a branch of it, hanging it off the shower head, you know that way. A bit of twine, bit of string, whatever. And when you turn on the hot water, the smell in the bathroom is amazing. Or a branch of it just resting on the top of a radiator. And anybody that has snuffy noses or kids with blocked sinuses or whatever, or runny noses, it's absolutely great for clearing the head. Even yourself, if you have a little bit of a headache, if you put eucalyptus kind of in the room, it just seems to kind of clear that muzziness. So just a tiny little bit of tidying around, and I'm not really that bothered about a little bit sticking out, because you'll see now in a few minutes, you'll have to go around the whole thing again when I go to put the decoration onto it.
That looks great.
So that's my base there, organised, okay? And just at the end here, I'm going to cut off the wire that's left over. There's a bit of a branch there sticking out. I'm cutting it shorter, but I'm actually going to wrap my bit of real wire around that little bit of branch there that's sticking out, because that's all going to be hidden now in a couple of minutes. So that's your base made.
Tina Nara said she thought she knew it all, and this is a great idea as a Yuko base.
Listen, Tina, if you've ever followed me, what is my motto, okay? My motto is, you never know it all. And the day you think you know it all, give it up. And I would be the first one to put my hand in the air and say, I don't know it all. And you see even here, like, you know what I mean, I would be, if I don't know an answer, I'll say, listen, I haven't got a clue, I don't know the answer. And I'm delighted if somebody can kind of like enlighten me and give me the right answer.
Margaret Huddleston, Pickabony, County Down, Rowan Hill Alpacas, she sells eucalyptus.
Brilliant. So she has her details there, and we'll repost it later on. We will forward that. You'll kind of like, you'll definitely find it, and she'll post it out to you. And it'd be grand if it was.
No,
in
she
box.
said collection only.
But she might do post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even to charge €15 or €20 for the courier, it's worth it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're then ready to add on your bunches of eucalyptus. So like earlier on, I already have all my bunches of eucalyptus, you see, made up. And I forgot to say earlier on, around 22 bunches. Are you going back there again?
No, just me. YouTube is
now I'm using my rusty roll of real wire. Thank God I have the oil on my hands, okay? So I'm just holding it with my thumb and then attaching it on by going around once to 2 or 3 times in the one spot, and there's your real wire attached. If you haven't got real wire, a ball of twine would do the same job, but it's much easier. You get it pulled tighter with the real wire. So your first bunch rests on the frame, and because it's going to be the same colour, you know that way, it mightn't stand out as well, but you rest it on the frame there, and the idea is that the real wire goes around the end of the bunch. It was the same idea for the Pussy Willow one, by the way, around the end of the bunch 2 or 3 times, and then kind of come back a little bit from it, and then get 2 bunches, but this time go right and left, so kind of like a zigzag, and that's what makes it kind of chunky. So again, with your real wire, you go around the ends of them 2 bunches, you know, 2 or 3 times. And I kind of find the trick is maybe give one more wrap and kind of come away from it a little bit. The next bunch then, you place in the centre, kind of overlapping the bunch that you've done already. And again, you go around with your real wire 2 or 3 times to hold it in place. And then you get your 2 bunches and you go right and left. And that's what makes it chunkier. And again, with your real wire, you go around the ends of that 2 or 3 times. Now again, colour-wise, it's hard to see it, but you can see the way it's getting chunkier, you know, that way. But because it's the same colour as the eucalyptus base, it doesn't stand out as well, which is absolutely fine. It's just normally you're doing this on a moss base, a twig base, a straw base, you know, that way. Like say if I was to do it on the straw base there, and I was to place the foliage on it, you'd see exactly where I'm stopping and starting. But it's just because the colour is blending in here, which is absolutely fine. It just means I've less coverage to do. So again, 1 bunch in the middle, wrap it around, and a bunch right and left, kind of slightly overlapping. Now I have to say, the smell of this, it's just...
It's amazing, yeah.
There'll be no COVID in this room, I tell you.
No, definitely
COVID
not.
in this room, I tell you. It's just brilliant to this. And again, another one in the centre, wrap it around, and then 1 to the right and the left. And again, it makes it a little bit chunkier.
One of the questions, Janette, was, is there many types of eucalyptus?
Loads. So our resident horticulturer will put up some information. But you know what? We have a great blog over on our blog page. So go to the website, flowerschoolisland.com. Click on the blog button, and then there's a blog there of foliages that you can grow for the flower range, or grow in your own garden, somebody else's garden, for the flower range, or people that want to do weddings. And he'll give you all the information, all the meaning behind the foliage as well, and what sort of conditions it likes, you know, the way.
And there's actually another one that's be going up in the next week as well. Also, another blog on foliage going up as well.
Jesus,
can you make it with different foliage?
Absolutely you can. And if you win the competition today, you'll get loads and loads of different ideas. But like, listen, bear with me over the next couple of weeks. So we're only, 3 weeks into spring, and I have absolutely loads more to show you.
How many bunches of eucalyptus would you need for a 12-inch ring?
I used 1.5 bunches between the 2 wreaths. So, and I would probably get good value out of it. So possibly kind of say 1 bunch per wreath. Okay, I probably got a bit more than that, you know what I mean? And that was using up the stems as well, you know, the rubbish. But I'd kind of find I'd get good cutting on the foliage because I'd be used to it. So allow yourself 1 bunch per wreath, but eventually you'll probably get away with using a little bit less. I'm coming up to near enough the end now, and when I get near the end, I'm doing the exact same trick. Remember the way you're sticking the ends of the foliage in under the beginning of the other foliage, okay? Again, just to let you see it, and that's what it looks like at the back. Like, that's just on its own without any decoration on it.
It's gorgeous. I'm actually, one of these will be on my new door later on.
Hall doors,
and I've had no wreath on it yet.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of them hall doors with the proper knocker. I think it's called the doctor's knocker. You know the kind of the long skinny one, you know, that you kind of bang away there. And it's a great knocker for hanging door wreaths on. Hang them out your knocker scales, that's the best place for them.
Yeah, they're all saying, Joan McGuire says it's looking amazing, it looks lovely and fresh. It is,
it's really fresh. And if you keep it sprayed with water, it will keep it even fresh for a little bit longer. But like, to be honest, like I normally hang mine on the whole door. I have a porchway, so mine's not getting any rain. Deirdre's probably would get the rain because she hasn't got a porchway on it. And I just leave it and just let it dry out. I'm not messing. When did I take down my Christmas wreath?
Last week.
Last week. I only took my Christmas wreath down last week. I did.
And I know Emer was telling me that up to recently she still had her Christmas wreath up as well.
Yeah.
So
and there was loads of the students that had bought the Christmas wreath course off us. I think I've lipstick on my arm there. Just been kissing my own arm. They were all saying like they just lasted for ages. So again, I'm at that last piece, you know, that way, a little bit of wiggling and wangling, as I'd call it, into the foliage, just to kind of finish it off. And then you can cut the real wire at the back. You can see you get loads out of the real wire. Look at the dirt in my hands. That's after the rusty roll of real wire. But I purposely wanted, I've lost me a bit of wire there that I cut off. I purposely wanted to show them what the rusty one looks like, because everyone is always, when they get it, you know, when it goes rusty at home, they're kind of saying, oh God, like, I won't be able to use it, it's gone to waste. No, you can still use it, it's absolutely
Becky
fine.
Wants to know, what type of eucalyptus is this one? This is the glaucescum one.
Yeah, this is the one you get to smell of.
Yeah, we took our Christmas wreath down, and but they're still looking great. Karen is saying, post a wreath on your door, Deirdre, when it's done. I will, Lorraine, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's a lovely white hall door as well, so it'll show the wreaths off really nice. Okay, I'm just trying to knot in that piece of wire that's left over in through the other bits of real wire at the beginning. And actually that looks really well. And there is our 12 inch. Well, it's more than 12 inches, you know what I mean, when it's finished, because obviously you're going to come out the back. So what was the vote? Did they want it done in the fresh or?
To be honest, I think the majority actually said faux.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Sure. Listen, I'll do a fresh one next week. You know
Yeah.
that way. You won't be getting rid of me that quick.
Jericho
I was
Scadden
going
said,
to add these in while I was making me little
Oh, yeah.
bunches. But sure, what I'm going to do, I left these stems long because I was going to add them in with the bunches as I went along. So what I'm now doing is I'm actually just sticking them down through the leaves. They're a plastic stem. Now somebody's going to say, where will you get the silk flowers? You know that way. What about your one up in County Down? Has she got any? But otherwise, the ranch. You know, I know
The
there's
range.
lots of shops, the ranch. There's a lot of shops. Obviously, you can't do click or collect, but you can buy online. So you find like there's lots of places. Again, start making suggestions there, girls, in the comments, like of places that are selling like artificial faux
the
flowers.
flower shops are selling them too.
Yeah, these came on a bush. So this was one bush, and I just cut it up into these little individual pieces. And this is just a heavy plastic stem, and I'm literally stabbing it down into the base. You know, the base that I made with the eucalyptus. It's just stabbing it down. I do have to give it a bit of a push.
Sylvia said the range is open.
Oh, there we go. I didn't even know that myself. But to say that I haven't been anywhere really.
No, we
I
haven't,
genuinely, haven't been shopping. All shopping that I'm doing is online. Every time I look, my husband thinks I'm having an affair with the DPD fella. Every time I look, your man's knocking at the door, or he's sneaking away after dropping another box off.
Olga said the range in Derry has fabulous silk flowers.
Brilliant, thanks.
And the range are online as well, so if you didn't want to go out, I know you can shop online, because I've shopped online. Dunn's have silk flowers. Yeah, Dunn's is coming up a lot, but they're with the silk flowers. But yeah.
So there you go, that's like, and the great thing is if you do put the faux flowers in, is they're always going to be there. Do you know that? You know, saying you can always pull them back out again, and you can reuse them again. So that's what it looks like with that little bit of artificial kind of going through it.
Jennifer says you make it look so easy. She's delighted that you're doing
easy,
faux.
That was easy. And
Yeah.
you want to come and give me a massage? So then I have these peonies. Now what I did was I wired them. So cut the stem shortish, you know, that sort of way. Use a 20 gauge wire will be better. 22 might be a bit light for this, so 20 gauge would be better, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to make a hairpin bend, excuse the dirt of the hands, okay? And you're resting the hairpin bend on the stem. So it's not hooked around the stem, it's just resting on it. Basically squeeze that hook, okay? And then you wrap the wire around the stem. And that's how you wire them, simply. But you know what? If you had left them stems long enough, my ones weren't long enough, okay? But if they were long enough, you could attach them in the same way. So what I'm doing now is I'm sticking the wire down through the leaves, down through the, well, I might rephrase that. I'll try and get, yeah, it is going down. Down through the eucalyptus base, okay? Sticking my stem down a little bit shorter. Good job, that's not fresh. You see our peony? And then that's where the wire, you see, came out the opposite side. So on the other side, I'm kind of making a hook, like a U-bend with the wire, and sticking it back up into the frame, and that just secures your flower.
Somebody says the range have the flowers blocked off because they're not essential in the south.
But you tell them what happened to John when he went up to Woody's to look for you.
To buy forks.
Forks.
Our kids love spice bags, but they keep throwing the forks away with the spice bags. So we were literally down to like 3 forks. So John went up to, no, it wasn't Woody, it was Home Store and More. And he says to your mum, where's your forks? He says, they're over there, but you can't buy them because they're not essential.
So you
to eat with our fingers.
Your fingers. No forks in your house. That's mad, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
hopefully on the 5th of March
like
now.
For people with small kids that are growing out shoes, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we grow into our clothes.
Well,
Our clothes
especially
grow.
during lockdown.
But like for small kids that are growing and they need new shoes and they need new underwear and pajamas.
Deals,
and
IKEA, Amazon, these are all the places that are coming up that sell faux flowers.
yeah, brilliant. Fair play to you, everybody. And put the area, because you know the way somebody says deals and then somebody else is saying, what deals, you know what I mean, do you get them in, you know that way. And again, if you are in a shop and you see faux flowers, take a photograph, post it up on the page. Or if you see them in an area, again, like let people know it was deals on the Kylemore Road or whatever deals it was. So I'm struggling with this last one here. Obviously there's a bit of a thick branch there, I say. Go on, go in.
Love this, Janette, you really do make it look so easy.
No, this isn't easy now at the moment. This is definitely not making it. I'm going to have to go to a different spot. No, in your end. One course. Okay.
Lovely reach, Janette. I just love the smell of the eucalyptus. Yeah, the smell of the eucalyptus is fabulous, really. And the smell here in the classroom is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, it's just amazing. Do you know that way? I swear to God. Okay, we'll go one more time. Say a prayer. That's all they're giving out.
Isn't it typical of the last one?
Got it in. There we go. The wire is coming through the other end, and then I'm just cutting a bit off it because I've bent it so much there, getting it in, and now I'm hooking it up into the cage, and I'm just kind of dividing them up there. So there's, like, say, your 5 kind of peonies. Now I have some smaller little ones. They're kind of more like a
Ranunculate,
I'd say. Again, just artificial, and I'm just going to add these in and out through it as well as another. But you can put in as many or as little as you want. Now I will do it in fresh flowers, but for anybody that's asking about the fresh flowers, what I use is the water vials, you know, the little water tubes, and that will help to give them a water source. And the vials are reusable, so it is environmentally friendly as well.
Yeah.
And it keeps them kind of like fresh for a long time. And you can use flowers that are long lasting. In saying that, like Mam's one that we did with the tulips.
Yeah.
The tulips are dead and the roses are dead. And you know what I mean? It was on her door about 3 weeks and it still looks really, really well. Actually, we have another celebration.
Actually, loads of people are actually commenting as well.
So Mr. and Mrs. K, our mum and dad, Deirdre and myself are sisters, just in case anybody doesn't know that. And Sinead, that we keep saying, post that, she's our other sister. So it's our mum and dad's 55 years married today. Imagine. My poor Ellen would have been out for murder. She would have been out prison quicker. 55 years married today, and the two of them, thank God, they're as healthy and there's not a bother off them, and like fair play to them. So listen, big happy wedding anniversary, and we'll have a big party after all this when things kind of settle down.
Fiona O'Shea, Deirdre, send me your address. I'll send you some forks. I have hundreds of them from my catering company.
Could do a few plastic ones here in the
class.
class.
This is it.
You know, and with no plastic spoons. Normally when we had the classes here, we always use plastic spoons and plastic cups for the cup. We always get them a cup of tea with their penguin bar. So obviously, since we've had no students, I haven't really been topping up. So now, jar of coffee, I'm pouring it into the lid and then giving myself and Deirdre, you know, a ration. And I'm flying through the coffee because we're as high as kites, the two of us here, we are. Because obviously the coffee is that little bit stronger. I've used up all the flowers that I had, and that's there now, what it looks like with the faux flowers in it.
Geraldine Whelan just rang Vaughan's Garden Centre in Ennis, and they said they nearly always have eucalyptus in stock. So
Brilliant.
anybody over the
What
west.
area?
Ennis, County
Ennis.
Clare.
Brilliant. Fair. And again, like most of these places, they'll send it out to you. And even if it takes 2 or 3 days to get it in the post, you know, that way, it won't matter. It won't go to any harm at all. When you get it, recut the ends of it, put it in a bucket of water, and it'll rehydrate and be bouncing again.
Somebody on YouTube is saying trying to find the plastic straws is a nightmare. Ask Bernie Hurley.
Yeah, Bernie Hurley is the supplier of the plastic straws.
Yeah, they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it.
Will I go for organza or normal, or will
I don't think it even needs a bow. I think just a hanger on it, yeah.
I'll just use this then for the hanger. So a length of ribbon, whatever length you want. I was lucky enough that I didn't really have a bad part, you know, that way. Sometimes wherever you finish, it often looks a little bit untidier, like in other words, the start and the finish. But I was kind of lucky enough, so it's kind of a case of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So I'm bringing the ribbon around under the base. I'm tucking it under the foliage, kind of in through here. I might have teared it a bit. There we go. So tucking it in through there, just so that you don't see it in the front. The other one I purposely brought over the front so that you did see it. Okay? So again, what I'm going to do then is get my 2 ends the same. I'm now going to make a double knot here on this end. And this is what I'm doing this different to the other one, because I made a balls of the other one. But what I wanted was, I didn't want to see the knot, you see? So if I do it this way, I can then pull the ribbon back. So the knot now is at the back, you see underneath there, and there you have it then to hang on your knocker when you go home. So that's our eucalyptus wreath with the faux flowers, and I'll do a fresh one for you next week. And this is our pussy willow wreath.
I love that.
With the organza. I got the knot going the wrong direction, but when you hang that on your knocker, Deirdre, you won't see that knot, you know. So don't get that in the photograph, don't let me down. I done that the wrong way around, and I just had a blank and I just couldn't work it out, so I just kept going with it. But that's done with the pussy willow. It's a pussy willow base, and that was done with the eucalyptus base. So literally my bin, well, the bin is actually overflowing here beside me, but in other words, like, is you've saved on all that rubbish. So all the rubbish that was on the floor, there's still a little bit on the floor, but all the rubbish that was on the floor from the eucalyptus and from the pussy willow, I've used it all up. So I just kind of thought that was a really cheapskate way of doing things, you know, and if you want to call it recycling or, you know, saving the environment. Now remember, anybody that wants to buy a kit, I do have the wire rings for sale. Just shows the bag there, and I'll show them the way it kind of comes. So I can post them out to you. A bit of shaking there for a second. I can post you out. Just go online and order them today, and I'll get them in the post to you today. So that's the kit. There's 3 wire rings. There's a roll of real wire. There's a bunch of wires for making your bunches, okay? And there's an option of a roll of ribbon if you want a roll of ribbon, but you can buy it without the roll of ribbon. And it's €25, including the postage, anywhere in Ireland, Northern Ireland included. Order today. We'll have it in the post to you today, and you probably get it on Monday, I'd say. Again, anybody that's asking about the funding grant for skill nets, okay, Module 1 is starting on the 10th of March. There's a €200 grant from skill nets for anybody that's living in Ireland. And the best thing to do is drop me an email and I can send you all the information, all the links, the syllabus, and the link to book your course and avail of the grant.
And just one more thing, anybody that has been waiting on the funding for Module 4,
yeah, we have them links through too as well. So I know a couple of you that were with me on Module 1 and Module 2, and you wanted to go on to Module 3, which is the 14th of April, and Module 4, which is the 15th of March. And yes, Module 4 is before Module 3, because if you've listened to me, I always say that's a better way to do the course. And we also have the SkillNets link for them as well. And they're actually up on the bookings page on the website. So just go to the website, flowerschoolireland.com, click the bookings button, scroll down to the very end of the page, because up near the top it's for booking directly with us. But if you go down to the very end of the page, there's 3 buttons, and it's Module 1, Module 3, Module 4. You book through them buttons and you save yourself 25% by booking through the SkillNets grant.
Don't forget the candle.
Oh yeah, so anybody who wants to avail of the candle, okay, pop over to Louise Moran's page, LM by Louise Moran. So Sinead is going to post the links in the comments below. She's on Facebook, she's also on Instagram. Follow her page and put a little comment in that she knows that you're from the school, because obviously it's up to her to pick the, do you know, I could do with a bit more oil on my hands.
I know, yeah.
And if you missed me massaging the oil into my hands, go back to the very beginning of this. Louise will pick the winner and she'll send out the candle in the post to you. And then anybody that would like to pop over to Emer Hutchinson's page, on Facebook she's called the 2 Darlings, even though she has 4 darlings now, and she has to upgrade that page. Or on Instagram she's under Emer Hutchinson. Anybody that has kids or has grandkids and you're looking for things to do with the kids, or arts and crafts, or cooking, oh my god, or decorating around the house, you know, that way, or lovely jumpers, pop over to her page there, and again, give her a follow, say hello, say you're from the school, you know, that way, I'm sure she'd really appreciate it. And any of our Sligo followers, she's from Sligo, so you know what I mean, you know yourself, follow your own, pop over there, she'd really, really appreciate it.
They love the idea of the candle in the ring.
Yeah, that's actually, there you go. That wasn't planned, I just put that down. Okay, what about the sharers? How's the best sharer coming on?
Well, we'll do that. We'll probably come on maybe tomorrow and we'll announce the winners.
One more last chance then. So if you want to click share, what we're going to do is we can click who has shared our page. They'll all then roll up. We're going to roll down to and we'll do it live so you can see there'll be no cheating, okay? So obviously the more times you share, the more times that you're going to come up, okay? So share our page. Let's get the word out there. What numbers did we get up to today, Deirdre?
We were up over 520, yeah?
Excellent. Brilliant.
Yes,
so we
brilliant.
last week we did. Huge thanks for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Listen, big hugs, big loves. Be positive. Grow positive thoughts, everybody. And listen, see us all. Well, we're probably going to come on early in the week next week again.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah,
We've a good bit planned for next week. So listen, set up the notifications on your phone. That's the handiest. You know us. I can't tell you when we'll be live, but we'll definitely be live, and I will be doing more spring wreaths with you. Best of luck. Thanks a million. Love you all. Bye bye.